Well, this very innocent-looking lift has in fact brought me to one of the bastions of extreme heavy metal as we know it. Yes, indeed, Earache Records. Well, joining us now, the big cheese of Earache Records, if that's the right word. This is Dig, of course.
Best of the big, you'll be all right.
Well, okay, the small cheese, in fact, the very round cheese. Well, never mind. Anyway, yes, I Dig. I mean, you sort of managed to build up a fair old empire out of, well, out of virtually nothing. You know, I remember the days when you were almost living in a shoebox.
Yeah, it's kind of true.
Yeah,
And,
I mean,
glad you remember the days.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I mean,
I was staying at your house actually. Yeah, it was like,
just like old times, isn't it?
Yeah, there was no hotels in them days.
Yeah, so I mean, well, how did it all actually start, though?
Well, it was back in 1986, and basically I was friends with a few bands that are based in Nottingham. They were like hardcore bands at the time. You know, it wasn't like metal stuff like we do today, and no one would put their records out really. Like no one was interested in the music they were playing because it was like really like intense, hardcore, very fast, and I was like a big fan of that kind of stuff. So the whole thing started by just pressing up a few records from Heresy and Concrete Socks, were the two bands at the time. Then we soon moved on to another band called Napalm Death. That was the third record I ever did, and you know, it was all based out of my bedroom at home. And luckily, Napalm Death really took off. Really, they were just like the band of their time. Really, they were just like super fast, super heavy thrash band, and a lot of people got into them, and you know, that kind of founded the label. Really,
Right.
yeah, it was a good footing for the rest of the bands to follow.
Well, here we are in another part of the burgeoning Earache empire, and this chap here that I know as Pete, you kids out there will probably know as Quailcast Mutilator, of course, from Lawnmower Death. Now, Pete, or can I call you Quailcast, in fact?
Call me whatever you want, Phil.
Right, indeed, right. Well, I mean, Lawnmower Death have been looked upon as something of a sort of a joke band in the past.
That's it. But to be honest, I mean, like, people who like compared us to being a joke band, like, to start with, like, compared to Bad News and stuff like that. But it's not a serious bid to be, you know, the most serious rock and roll band of all time, but it's really just supposed to be a good time thrash band, humorous lyrics. And let's be honest, I mean, if you want a real joke band, we'll save his name from embarrassment, but check this guy, serious joke. But yeah, no, it's just good time music, humorous lyrics. All the bands when we started were being so po-faced and getting stuck at their own arses, and it was all becoming horrendously serious that we're just trying to put a bit of humour back into it. Frank Zappa did it, why can't we?
Right, indeed. I mean, so do you intend to put out sort of 50 albums in the way that Zappa did?
I wasn't thinking of trying to compete with his back catalogue, but no, I mean, you know, we idolised the man at the end of the day. I mean, we've like never been unblatant about that one. But no, we just like worship everything he does. Somebody to look up to. If we get to 50 albums, I'll be gobsmacked.
This lot here, in fact, Fudge Tunnel. So, chaps,
we are.
It's lucky, really, isn't it? Wrong band. Right, so this Ted Nugent fixation that you happen to have, or appear to have anyway, you had a cover of Cat Scratch Fever on your Hate Songs in E minor album. I mean, tell us a bit about that, folks.
Came about basically because Ted's so cool, or certainly was at one point. There's a story that goes when the Sex Pistols toured America that Ted actually wanted to get up and jam with them, and he went along and Sex Pistols said, you know, get lost, we don't want any old long-haired hippie jamming with us. So they sent a roadie over with a pair of scissors to cut his hair off, and that was the only way that they'd let him play. So the roadie went over with his pair of scissors, and Ted turned around with a shotgun to the roadie's head, and 20 minutes later he was on stage jamming with the Sex Pistols. You know, I mean, that's the
And funnily enough, he's also one of
see.
Henry Rollins' great heroes. It actually started Rollins off playing in a band, going to see Ted Nugent, so he thought he was so cool.
And there's not many people these days who wear loincloths.
Or even have guitars welded to their ends of the arms in amazing fashion on fronts of albums, you know. I mean, the guy's just a genius. I mean, he's such an arsehole.
Fair point there, very fair point. Now, it's been a while since that album actually surfaced and stuff. I mean, what about, you know, recording some more stuff for everyone to hear, basically?
Well, as it happens, we've got a new record out soon. Look.
It's a cover of Dog Eat Dog by Adamantium. You might recognise the cover in there.
Oh, here's the back. Right.
Pretty similar to the front, really.
Only different.
In a sort of similar sort of a style.
Yeah, it's basically just 4 songs on an EP, 2 new ones and 2 old ones that we've re-recorded.
Right. What about album plans and stuff? I mean, I presume that you must have a stack of material hiding in your closet somewhere.
Absolutely loads of material.
We have lots of material.
Got a couple of riffs together, you know, for a song.
We've got at the end of a song sorted out.
And we've got the beginning as well, which starts off with feedback, but it's the middle we're having problems with, because it ends
With feedback.
and then there's feedback.
Well,
It starts
could you
with
perhaps
feedback,
sing that
and got the
for
middle.
us?
Have what, sorry?
Could you perhaps sing that for
The
us?
start.
Yeah, it kind of just goes. Then it sort of gets to the end and then just kind of goes. That's pretty much it, but we're struggling a little bit with the middle bit.
We're outside probably the best rock club in